Today on Business Success in Six with Stacie, I have Cody Pollock and Peter Gray here from County Cannabis in Door County, Wisconsin. Hi, guys. Thanks for jumping on with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Stacie.
Absolutely. I got to meet Cody when I was up in Door County, and you guys have a really neat business. You're doing great things for the community. I would love to talk about Door County Cannabis and share what you are doing. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, here we go. When people ask you what Door County Cannabis does, how do you describe the business?
You want to take the lead, Pete?
Yeah, so basically we're semi-vertically integrated hemp-based products company. And I say semi just because, we don't own our manufacturing, but we work closely with the manufacturer in Wisconsin. But we grew hemp at Grayer Farms, and we worked with a processor for our oil, and we worked with our manufacturer, and now we sell our products in Door County.
And you have both e-commerce and a brick and mortar in Fish Creek now, right?
Yes. So we kind of started off with e-commerce just because it was and selling off the farm, I should say. And then last year we opened a store, and Cody's kind of the retail manager of that store in Fish Creek that opened last July. And this was our first full year of the storefront.
Okay, so you formed your LLC in 2019. What were your plans when you started the business, and how has it really changed? I mean, a lot has happened since pre-COVID. Tell me a little bit about the history of the business so far.
Yeah, so it truly all dates back to 2018 when we had to figure out what we were going to maybe transition the farm to, how we were going to do with that, which landed us to start to grow the hemp when we knew it was legal in 2018. We started initially to grow as a cash crop, possibly knowing that there's money to be made just growing it, but also understanding there's a possibility of a big fallout in the market with the saturation that was going to come with it.
Sure.
And then upon planting and during the season, we essentially decided we're going to actually make a full product out of it as well. And then, of course, we had to tackle the hurdle of 2020, which made it very interesting for us. Not doing markets that year due to them just not allowing us to get in was definitely a hurdle. So we worked on the website. That was a big start for us, where just coming out with the product to start was one thing, and word of mouth was a big start for us as well. Do you have any more to touch on that with, Pete?
No, but absolutely. Like, we first started off as we're going to grow this hemp to diversify Grayer Dairy Farm in Bailey's Harbor. And it just kind of transitioned to, we saw a lot of value in having an end product, and we saw that that market need for quality CBD products, because so much, just wasn't great on the market, right? So we saw the CBD market and CBD products kind of get tainted by some bad products and bad experiences. And we, saw that need where we could go kind of farm to product with CBD.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about the products, because when I met Cody, it was the 4th of July. I was working with my parents' outdoor sustainable furniture business, and my back was hurting so bad. And so I looked over there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go over there. I've got to find some relief with my back. And I went over there, and Cody helped me, got me a topical. So like a non-psychoactive kind of topical thing that, seriously, my back was feeling so much better within a half hour. But that's not the only kind of product you have. Do you want to touch on a little bit of the products that you offer?
Yeah, so outside of just the balm, which is of course the topical, we do have products that you ingest, whether it be an oil, like a CBD oil, which is a full spectrum, or you could go even to the gummy form, whether that is the full spectrum CBD base, or if we go down the line with the THC products, we also have that. And they're all going to have their own kind of niche as far as how it's used, with plenty of crossover still. So it's always interesting to figure out, from person to person, what is their need for it. Because again, we're not in this to, just sell a product to someone and make a dollar, right? We're here to actually figure out what's their need, how can we apply what we've now produced to their need. So, we have the balms, we have the oils, the gummies, we even have vape products for people that are looking for that quicker hit as well. So And then Pete, if you want to talk on even like the sustainable clothing that we have.
Yeah, so all of our products, we help develop, like say the balm. So like we created that formulation. And what we like about it is having the menthol in it as well as the CBD. So you kind of get like that icy hot feel, but it's pretty mild. And we've had a lot of success with that product. Along with everything else, we've kind of worked hand in hand with our flavors to have a Door County cherry flavor that's unique to our region. So we've kind of had a hand in all of our products. We try to make them very unique, and of course, use the oil that we derive from our hemp. Alongside that, we've worked with a company out of Sheboygan to source in hemp material to make shirts. I have one on right now. So these are sourced hemp and cotton material. The shirts are made and printed in Wisconsin, and we sell them at our store.
So fun, so comfy. I know those feel extra good on you too. So you talk about ways that we impact the community, and you guys are really impacting the community in a lot of different ways, from helping people with pain to educating. And I would love for you to talk about all the ways that you're impacting the community, including, a little bit about the packaging that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, starting with like the educating part, that's been a big one for us, which is, as we've talked in the past about how markets are, limited time with us face to face with customers. So if they know what they need, that's fine. But when people are trying to figure out, problems A, B, C, we can offer potential solutions for them, which has been great having the storefront here for that. But then we wanted to take it another step further and say, okay, what else can we do, to offer people? And big thing is sustainability. That's what we keep coming back to again with like the clothing. And so, yeah, when it comes to packaging, that's where we jumped into the fully biodegradable packaging. Peter was actually able to source this company out of, I believe it was New York. If you want to touch on that, Pete, with Hemp Pack.
Yeah, so small business wise, like and this was a new industry for us. But anytime you try to go out and change something, you have to like go find some different manufacturers or some different partners to work with. So I was able to get connected with somebody that was they had this material and they wanted to make it into different things. So for us, it's a gummy container that's child resistant. It kind of has the things that we wanted for our packaging, and we were able to kind of source this packaging, and then there was quite a few different people involved in getting this. As you start learning more about manufacturing and how everything goes and how much everything costs and how much a tool costs to make these devices and minimums and all this stuff, all these things that we learned kind of as we grew this business. So lots of things involved with that. But yeah, so touching back on what Cody said, education, my background is in sports medicine, truly, and having experience with evidence-based practices and researching, we always kind of fall back on what we know, what has been studied, the potentials of CBD, and try not to be to deceive customers in a way. So what Cody said, where we're not just forcing these products on people and telling them things that we don't know to be true. Really, we know there's a lot of potential with THC and CBD, and we just help educate and let customers make informed decisions on that. And we also tailor our products to, as far as what we know, what would be the most effective for people, and try to educate them on how to find the right dosing for them or how to find the right product for them. Because being it the way it is in cannabis and anything like that, there's not a lot of good clinical research out there because it just wasn't able to be done. So what we do know is now there's a ton more studies coming out, and everybody's getting more into it now that things are getting a little bit more loose. But we do know some of the potentials of CBD, and we try to stick with what we know, and tell people like we're going to be finding out more stuff, and like we're going to be telling you what we know, right? Like we're not. A lot of customers want to basically be told like use this, and that's just the way they are, right? Use this. This is how much you take. This is when you should take it. And unfortunately, CBD and the benefits of CBD kind of is a broad brush and can be used a lot of different ways. And that's a tougher pitch to tell customers, right? So it's just education and then sustainability. And our other kind of pillar that we like to talk about is community as well. And that's basically, we are local to Door County, right? So we want to be kind of accepted as locals. We want to support, the local community, not only with our products, but also like being able to have some initiatives. We grew up there, and we want to just kind of support the area.
That's so cool. Yeah. Rare. I mean, Door County has grown so much. So to find local Door Countyans is pretty cool. So thank you for supporting your community. Thank you for educating people on this and not just giving them a product. Because what we do know too is that everybody is different. And that's something Cody was really educating me on. Is that, depending on what you ate, depending on all these different factors. And I love that you guys are so upfront about that you're not trying to lead people. It's like one size fits all, go now. You really want people to know what you offer. So we kind of talked about a little bit of a challenge, even with packaging, but I'd love for you guys to each talk a little bit more. One challenge that you have faced in the past 4 years that other business owners could learn from, or just something specific to the industry or broad, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I think one thing that we've noticed there's so many, especially in this industry that is such a new, it's a new evolution of an industry in the United States. We went from being completely illegal to now almost breaking the stigma, depending on what part of the country we're in.
Yes.
And that's one big one that I've noticed over the last few years is just the acceptance, the normalizing of, we'll just use the word cannabis, but we could even go as far as say CBD. Of course, marijuana is not legal in Wisconsin, but people are becoming more knowledgeable about it. It's very different here than out west as far as knowledge and acceptance, but it's changing. That's a big one, and that extends into every facet. A couple of years ago, we were approached by a radio company to do advertising, but they couldn't use our name. That's a huge hurdle in radio to not use our name.
So
and then
how do you advertise if you can't use can you say go to this website? Like what is the
So we didn't. We couldn't. But you fast forward to now, and we are working with a local radio station that is very, very upfront and progressive, and they're excited to work with us on this. We've been working with the TV, Channel 5 News for the last couple of years, but it's been very interesting to see the evolution of billboard marketing as well, where they go from 1 minute not allowing a plant or the term cannabis on it to the next. Where they're actually promoting, marijuana across state lines. It's changing very quickly.
Yeah. I've seen billboards like it's legal in Michigan as you drive north, and it's like, okay. But some of that education again is some of the effects that you would get if you go to a different state. You can still feel here if you need that pain relief or whatever with CBD and hemp products, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Has that been kind of a challenge at all as well?
Yeah, there's definitely been a big hurdle of, trying to educate the people on like what is THC. People don't realize that there's multiple different forms of cannabinoids. And that's where, the term like Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10 are all being thrown around, or THCV, CBG. CBG is a CBD cannabinoid, but all these different forms, people just think CBD or THC, and that's it. And so when you start to break it down and explain to them that they are different, that they have different effects, then people actually, now they've learned something, and now they can actually take this knowledge and apply it to what do they need. So we find that very beneficial for our customers, and that was definitely a big hurdle for us. But I think we're getting to the place now where we can really, hone in these different forms and able to educate and steer people.
Interesting. Thank you. Peter, any other challenges you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably talk all day about different challenges that we faced. just starting from, sourcing plants to, figuring out how to dry and strip the plants to find a processor, to banking issues because, it's a risky, industry. And banking was very tough to find in the beginning. So like, as we kind of moved through, creating this business, for like, well, it would have been nice, right? You would like to have a nice playbook already out, established industry where you have benchmarks and you have logistics and a supply chain. But basically, we had to maneuver and grow this business, without knowing what the next step was going to be. And when that next step came, we're like, okay, we need this. And then we had hurdles finding a payment processor, a website that would support us, banking, everything has kind of had some friction along the ways. And then, it's an industry that has restrictions and, probably more restrictions to come, right? And we actually saw that as like a opportunity because we wanted to, have a trustworthy product. We wanted to have the third-party testing that I guess isn't quite required, but now is more of the established norm, which is good. And we want to have the child-resistant containers when that's not required right now in the hemp industry.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that we learned along the way, and we wanted to, instill these things now because these are things we wanted, even though it wasn't quite required. But, going along with that, advertising, not being able to do anything on kind of the Instagram, Facebook's platforms, just because ad wise, I mean, we can have our profile. We do have our social media profile, but we are restricted, and it's very tough to grow a following in those type of ad environments just because of their community guidelines and things like that. So as far as Instagram and Facebook, they're very it could be hemp, it could be CBD, it could be anything, and they pretty much restrict it, along with like guns and other stuff like that. Like, we get our stuff pulled down same as if it was an illegal drug or guns or anything like that. So obviously that's a challenge as well. And then the stigma around cannabis and the education, really we started doing markets, and we have this storefront as an opportunity to educate. And we have, and it's everything, right? It's the people that have no idea about anything. It's the people that come from a legal cannabis state that think that this is very different. When you kind of boil it down, it's like these are all compounds, and and they all derive, like hemp, like just describing what hemp is versus what cannabis is. Like, well, hemp is a cannabis plant, but it has less than 3% delta 9 THC, and that's what the definition of hemp is. But it's the same plant, right? So we have people coming into the store that's like, well, this isn't the real stuff, and technically it is the real stuff. It's the same delta 9 THC. It's just derived from a hemp plant versus a full cannabis plant, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every step of the way there's been some friction, and there's so much education involved, and those have definitely been the main challenges for us.
So many challenges. Well, thank you for sharing all that. My next question, what does the future look like to Door County Cannabis? And do you guys have an exit plan? Are you planning on selling? Are you planning on growing, pun intended? Like, tell me a little bit more.
So I mean, honestly, the future, it's pretty wide open. We're still a very young company. I think it would be premature of us to say, yeah, we're gonna sell tomorrow. No, we have plans. We'd like to grow more. We'd like to innovate the farm possibly and do more on that side of it, whether it's directly in line with just our cannabis, or if we want to do offshoots and just build that area. So no, I wouldn't say we have like a direct exit plan right now. We're too young to look at that, I would say. What's your take, Pete?
I think it's a great question. Obviously, coming from a business success and, talking about businesses, like you need to have an idea of where you're headed. It's been a challenge with this business just because everything is changing so rapidly. And, in a sense, we kind of are going with the flow in a sense of where this business goes. There's so many different opportunities. And Wisconsin hasn't even legalized cannabis. But we do have some big plans, and there's some big opportunities that hopefully we're able to take advantage of. But exit plan, I guess I'm with Cody. We haven't really talked about that, but I think that's a very good question, and it's very important for young business owners, small business owners, entrepreneurs to think about that you're not just, you're not just going into this and then it's like whatever happens, or, hope for the best. You have to have plans and backup plans. And I think we'll probably end this and go back and talk about it.
Cool. Awesome. My final question for each of you is, what inspires you most?
I mean, so for me, honestly, I'd say it might come off as pretty cliche, but it's honestly like when you get the good responses from customers, when you hear direct stories or you witness it. I mean, and some of them have come I come to memory directly. It would be like 4th of July 3 years ago. People came in, tried the CBD oil because they had issues, and about a half hour later, they came back completely relieved, and like they were just, we just love to see that. And when you see like the product that you grow and, through everything we make and do finally pay off, that's honestly very, very rewarding for us. So I'd say that's one of the biggest ones for me, honestly.
Yeah, not cliche at all. I'm 100% grateful that does inspire you, because it helped me on the 4th of July too. Peter, what about you? What inspires you?
Yeah, I mean, that's validation is obviously really important when you're a small business owner or entrepreneur and just grinding. So like to be able to at the end of the day be like, wow, like we helped some people, that's clearly a very inspiring thing. For me, just growth, progress, and adventure are 3 things I look for in my personal and business world. So, and obviously I can get a lot of that from this industry because of how, how much growth potential there is. And yes, Wisconsin can be frustrating because we want to see progress a little bit faster in a lot of different ways. But clearly lots of adventure in this. And those are the type of things that kind of inspire me, things I want to see in my daily life as well.
Absolutely. I love that you said all 3 of those, growth, progress, and adventure, but in personal and business. And that's something our coaches talk about, making sure that your business is going to work for you so you can experience those things. Cody, Peter, it's been such a pleasure learning about your products. If somebody wants to get in touch with you guys, to purchase, to learn more, to get educated, I know you guys have a brand new website coming out and social. Can you share what are the best ways for them to get in touch?
Yeah, so our website is doorcountykannabis.co.co. That is.
Okay.
You can reach us there. You can find us on Facebook at Door County Cannabis Company. You can also find us on Instagram. It's a little trickier on Instagram because of the restrictions. You do have to find us by handle. If you search Doorcanna, DOORCANNA, you'll find us there.
Awesome. Thank you. Or they can come and visit you at your brick and mortar in Fish Creek, right?
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're located here in Fish Creek at the top of the hill shop specifically, and that's right here in Fish Creek, Door County, Wisconsin.
Awesome. Thank you guys both. Good luck and keep growing.
Thank you.
Bye.